Jungkook catches Jimin's wrist as he passes, pulling him back for one last, searing kiss, this one slower, deeper, and filled with a terrifying amount of affection. Don't think this means I'm going easy on you tomorrow, Jungkook whispers against his lips, the manager mask trying to stitch itself back together, though it's clearly cracked for good. We still have the 8 a.m. briefing. Jimin giggles, the sound bright and mocking in the heavy room. Oh, I'll be there. But I might bring Yoongi Hyung another coffee, just to see if your endurance has actually improved. Jungkook's eyes flash with that familiar, dark jealousy, and he growls low in his throat. Jimin just winks, slips out of his grip, and disappears into the bathroom. The sound of the shower starting up a few moments later. Jungkook stands alone in the red-tinted office, looking at his reflection in the glass window. He's a mess. He's unprofessional. He's compromised. And as he picks up his tie from the floor, he realizes he's never been more alive. Day 1 is over. The hierarchy is dead. Long live the new bosses. Day 2, the 8 a.m. power play. The sun rises over Seoul with a cold, unforgiving clarity that should have brought the manager back to his senses. By 7:55 a.m., Jungkook is already at the head of the conference table, his suit perfectly pressed, his hair slicked back, and his expression as stony as the granite flooring. But then the elevator dings. Jimin walks in, looking far too refreshed for someone who didn't sleep until 4 a.m. He's wearing a fitted black turtleneck and a designer blazer, looking every bit the boss's son. In his left hand, he holds 2 coffees. In his right, he's trailing Yoongi who is yawning so wide it looks painful. You're late, Jungkook says, his voice a flat, professional blade. He doesn't look at Jimin's lips. He doesn't look at the neck. He spent all night marking. He stares strictly at the iPad in front of him. Technically, I'm 5 minutes early for the vibe of the meeting, Jimin chirps, sliding into the chair directly opposite Jungkook. He slides 1 coffee to Yoongi and keeps the other for himself, completely ignoring Jungkook. Yoongi Hyung was just telling me about the after party for the gallery opening tonight. It sounds much more productive than what was it? Logistics. Yoongi leans back, a sleepy smirk on his face. It's a high-profile networking event. Jungkook, very important for the brand. I told Jimin I'd take him since you're so tied up with paperwork. Jungkook's pen stops moving. He slowly looks up, his dark eyes fixated on Yoongi. The jealousy from the night before hasn't vanished. It has just been caffeinated. Jimin has a mountain of filing to do from yesterday's incomplete audit, Jungkook says, his voice dropping an octave. Jimin leans forward, resting his chin on his hand, looking at Jungkook with a look of pure, unadulterated challenge. Actually, Manager Jiyeon, I think my performance last night proved that I work best under flexible conditions. Right, Hyung, Yoongi chuckles, oblivious to the subtext, but enjoying the chaos. He's got a point, Kook. Don't be a slave driver. Jungkook stands up, the movement so sudden that Yoongi actually flinches. He walks around the table, but he doesn't go to Yoongi. He stops behind Jimin's chair, his hands resting heavily on the leather back. Yoongi, Jungkook says, his voice deceptively calm. Go check the international wire transfers now. But Asterisk, asterisk now. Asterisk, asterisk. Yoongi raises his hands in surrender, grabbing his coffee. Fine, fine. Don't blow a fuse. See you at the gallery, Jimin. Count on it, Jimin winks. The moment the door clicks shut, the professional air in the room shatters. Jungkook leans down, his chest pressing against the back of Jimin's head, his hands sliding down to grip the armrests of Jimin's chair, trapping him. You really want to play this game in front of him. Jungkook rasps into Jimin's ear. You want to talk about flexible conditions. While I'm trying to keep this company from falling apart, Jimin doesn't shrink away. He spins the chair around so he's facing Jungkook, his knees brushing against Jungkook's thighs. He reaches up, his fingers dancing over the knot of Jungkook's tie, the one he tossed on the floor hours ago. I'm not playing, Jungkook, Jimin whispers, his eyes flashing with that superior Playboy steel. I'm the boss's son, remember? And I've decided that today we're working from the lounge. No Yoongi, no distractions. Just you, me, and the audit. You promised to finish. Jimin stands up, his face inches from Jungkook's, his confidence radiating off him in waves. He's no longer just the boy who surrendered. He's the one setting the agenda. Now, Jimin says, brushing a speck of dust off Jungkook's lapel, pick up your iPad, manager. We have 48 hours left, and I'm feeling very demanding today. Jungkook doesn't move. He watches Jimin with the intensity of a man staring into a solar eclipse, blinded but unable to turn away. The shift is complete. The Jimin who trembled on the sheets has been replaced by this sharp-eyed architect of chaos, and Jungkook finds himself addicted to the whiplash. Jungkook reaches out, his hand moving as if to grab Jimin's throat, but at the last second, he softens the gesture, his thumb merely hooking under Jimin's chin to tilt his head back. The lounge, Jungkook repeats, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. You think moving to a couch changes who's in charge. You think because you can bait Yoongi, you've somehow climbed the ladder. I don't need to climb, Jimin purrs, stepping into Jungkook's personal space until their belt buckles click together. He reaches up and slowly, mockingly, begins to unclip Jungkook's ID badge from his pocket. I was born at the top. You're just the one I've hired to keep me entertained. They move to the private lounge behind the executive office, a soundproofed room of charcoal velvet and dim, recessed lighting. Jimin doesn't sit on the sofa. He walks straight to the bar, pouring 2 fingers of expensive whiskey into a crystal glass, then turns and leans against the counter, looking every bit the sovereign. Jimin takes a slow sip, his eyes never leaving Jungkook's. You look tense, Manager Jiyeon. Maybe you should take off that blazer. It's making you look a bit stiff. Jungkook doesn't take off the blazer. Instead, he stalks forward, his footsteps silent on the thick carpet. He stops inches from Jimin, reaching out to take the glass from his hand and setting it on the marble counter behind him without looking. 48 hours, Jungkook whispers, his hands finding the edge of the bar on either side of Jimin, pinning him in place. And you want to spend them playing boss. Fine. Let's see how well you handle a hostile takeover. Jungkook leans in, his nose brushing against Jimin's. The professional facade is there, but the eyes are pure, unadulterated possessiveness. You want me to be your entertainment, Jungkook rasps, his hand sliding up to grip the back of Jimin's neck, his fingers tangling in the soft hair. Then pay attention, because the first lesson of day 2 is about consequences. You don't get to flirt with my friends and then expect me to be gentle when we're alone. Jimin's breath hitches, his superior smirk wavering for just a second as he feels the heat radiating off Jungkook. He reaches up, his hands flat against Jungkook's chest, feeling the heavy, rhythmic thud of a heart that belongs entirely to him. I didn't ask for gentle, Jimin whispers, his eyes darkening. I asked for interesting. Jungkook lets out a dark, ragged laugh. He lifts Jimin onto the marble bar, the cold stone a sharp contrast to the fever pitch of their skin.